USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show, and I have a real treat today. And anytime you say to yourself, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do this, I can't do that, you are going to hear a day in the life of Reba McEntire, who not only is a Grammy Award-winning entertainer and a fabulous country music star, in fact, the queen of country music. So many millions of records sold, over 75 million, and the number keeps going up. And Reba is going to continue her tour, and she's going to headline Madison Square Garden, the Hollywood Bowl. I don't know, and Reba, you've got a restaurant, a bar, and a retail store. How do you do all that? And wait, I'm not even finished. Reba, a Lifetime movie, The Hammer, which is streaming right now, a book coming out in the fall. I cannot believe all this stuff that you're doing, and clothing you're selling at Dillard's, and boots. So you don't have a lot of time on the side, right?
Oh, well, somebody asked me last night, what do I like to do on my spare time? I said, I can reorganize a closet in a heartbeat, but I don't have a lot of free time, but we are very creative, Joan. We like to find projects to do, and especially when COVID hit, it was like, well, we can't do anything with all of us together, so let's start thinking some stuff up and start filling up the funnel again, and then when we are released to be able to go record and work again, we'll be ready. See what comes out the bottom of the funnel. And amazingly enough, a lot of stuff did. So we were busy when quarantines were lifted and doing Big Sky TV show on ABC and the Hammer touring and enjoying life. Just absolutely loving all the fun things we get to do.
And it's great. So you did, through COVID, you just kept on going. Is that right?
Well, what we did during COVID is, no, we weren't working. We were just thinking up stuff to do when COVID was lifted. Everybody was sitting around bored, didn't know what to do. So we just started, my whole team came up with ideas to do. That's where the coffee table book started. Well, we can't do nothing else. Let's write a book. And so it's a coffee table book with all kind of recipes and stories and pictures and funny anecdotes. And I learned a lot on it because they would ask me questions like, what would you do at an outdoor spring party, barbecue? And, well, I didn't have any ideas, so we'd look it up and get ideas from other people. And it was a great learning experience, and it's going to be a cute, fun book to go through.
I'm looking forward to that. Do you cook? Do you like to entertain? Or how do you have time, I should say, to entertain?
Yeah, I do like to entertain. I like to cook. My boyfriend, Rex Lynn, and I, we love to get in the kitchen together and cook, make up new stuff. He's the type of cook that will spend 3 or 4 days, looking for the recipe and then preparing and making a brine and all that kind of stuff. I just throw it together. So we're two different kinds of cooks, so we have fun in the kitchen.
I bet. It sounds good. And where did the clothing come from?
Well, the clothing line started about 18 years ago when we partnered up with Dillard's and started doing clothes, and then got into boots with Justin Boots. I have over 100 pair of boots. So, I love my boots. Thank you. I have over 100 pair in my boot room because I wear boots all year long. I wear boots more than I wear any other kind of footwear.
And it's not uncomfortable to wear them all day when you're on your feet?
No.
They
My
feel
boots are
good.
very comfortable. They're padded, and I can go all day long with them. I perform in them. I wear them during the day, and just it's you can wear an old pair of boots and look in style, or you can kind of make your outfit look a little more up class and formal if it's a brand new pair of boots. So you're covered.
It sounds good. Well, can you imagine it's been a long journey from the singing McEntires when you kids would get out there and entertain everyone you could.
Yeah, it's been a long, great road. We had fun. Paige, Susie, and I singing together. Alice, our oldest sister, didn't sing with us that much. She was the rodeo cowgirl. Because we were third-generation rodeo kids, grandpap, daddy's daddy, and daddy. And Paige, Alice, and myself, we rodeoed. Susie married a rodeo cowboy, but never rodeoed herself. So us three also sang, played basketball, and just had a really good time being together. And now here we are years later. Susie's still singing, Paige's still singing, and I'm still making a pretty good living out of it myself, so we're having fun.
It sounds good. What did your family do in the rodeo? What did they rope? Was that their thing?
Yes, Daddy and Grandpap were world champion steer ropers. Paige has won lots of rodeos and steer ropings. Alice was a barrel racer. That was the women's timed event and rodeo. I did a little bit of it. I wasn't as good as Alice. I was more of a contributor, but I sure had fun doing it. And what makes getting to go to Madison Square Garden April 15th, what makes that so special for me is that Daddy performed. He roped calves at Madison Square Garden in 1946 and 1947. So I'm going back, and it's kind of a full circle thing that Alice and Susie are going to get to come up and be with me for that. Pake's busy. He's working. And so we're really thrilled to get to be together in a place where Daddy was years ago and in the same building. So it's going to be fun.
It sounds like it's going to be great. And what's also great, you have the talent, you have the talent early on, and yet it all started happening with rodeo and everything else. But how did it really happen? How did you even know, or your parents know, that, like you, really had what it takes?
Well, I was the third of four children. I wasn't the oldest, I wasn't the youngest, and I wasn't the only boy. I was the third. So I didn't get the kind of attention I wanted, which is you're trying to always get good attention, not bad attention. But
Right.
The only way I could get good attention is by singing. And so that kind of set me, I guess, apart a little bit. And I always volunteered at all the Christmas programs, Thanksgiving programs, to sing a solo at the programs. And then it just evolved to where we were the singing McEntires. And then I got a job singing the national anthem at the National Finals Rodeo in Oklahoma City in 1974. Mama took me up there and stayed with me for all 9 performances. And Red Steagall was there. He's a very famous country western swing singer, cowboy poet. And Mama said, "Can you get my 3 kids in the music business?" He said, "Well, Jackie, I'm just really trying to keep my head above water." He said, "But if you want to bring Reba to Nashville, we could try to get her in, and then she could bring the other 2 in." And so we did that. And Susie was in college, Paige was rodeoing, and they were happy with what they're doing. So I went down to Nashville. Mama took me. We got a recording contract 11 months later.
It's all unbelievable. And that guy was an important influence in your life, right? Introducing you and helping.
Definitely. I just had dinner with him last night here in Scottsdale. We're still very close, great friends, and I just love him with all my heart. And there's no telling where I'd be today if it wasn't for Red Steagall.
No, you never know. Is the rodeo life? In fact, I turned on something the other day, and they were doing, which you don't see in New York too often, bull riding. And Is the rodeo a good life, an interesting life for families?
Oh, it was the best for families because families rodeoed together, and you'd go to one rodeo this weekend, and the next weekend you're at another rodeo, and you're seeing your same friends because everybody's on the rodeo circuit trying to, make a living out of it. So it was really tough for me to make the transition from rodeo to music business because I didn't know anybody, and I was scared. Why would I want to leave my whole rodeo family for people I don't know? But the best thing Red did for me is he introduced me to wonderful people that I could trust and that would help take care of me. And it was a long time before I got a number one record, got really established. But because it took so long, I did have a stronger foundation than being a overnight success, which I definitely was not.
Well, that's pretty rare, right? In the country world?
Yeah. Any profession. If you don't make it big, have a number one record, and on your first 2 or 3 singles, they will
drop you,
find somebody else that's quicker. It's a faster time now, but that was in the 70s, so it was a slower time. Thank the Lord it was. So I got my education and learned and took notes, and because I didn't know anything about the record business or the music business. We just sang around locally. I thought you have a song on the radio, you get a tour bus, and you're rich. Well, right. That's not the way it happens by any stretch of the imagination. I was still living in a $10 a month rent house in the late 80s. And 1980, I moved into a house with my first husband that really was a big improvement to what we were living in. So it just kept growing. Baby steps is what I had. Nothing large, no big leaps and astronomical things happened. It was just baby steps.
But what gave you the courage to hang on, even though you had to face disappointment and rejection, which we all do along the journey, but it can be discouraging. And as you said, it didn't happen overnight. You had to really pay your dues.
Well, Mama encouraging me, she told me, she said, if you don't want to do this, we'll go home. We don't have to pursue it. She said, but if you do go ahead and this works out, I'll be living all my dreams through you, because Mama didn't get the opportunity that I did. And I said, well, shoot, why didn't you say that in the beginning? Heck yeah, let's go do this sucker. Mm-hmm. And she was with me all the time.
That's great. And what was the first number one record?
The first number one record in 83 was Can't Even Get the Blues. My first single was I Don't Want to Be a One Night Stand. Mm. That was kind of saying right at the beginning, I'm going to be here for a while, so get ready.
And how long, when you look back, did that take to happen?
Well, I'd say, 75, I signed my contract. 76 was my first single. 83 was my first number one record, and in 84, I won my first female vocalist of the year.
Wow.
That happened for 4 years in a row with 2 Entertainer of the Year awards. So I'd say it took almost a good 10 years to really get your feet in there and get solid. But
you did. And when you have a number one record, is that life-changing, or do you have to constantly prove yourself?
Oh, constantly have to prove yourself. It's life-changing, too. Matter of fact, when I got the news from my manager at the time, Don Williams, that my song had gone number one, we were in a bus garage in DeSoto, Texas, because the front left wheel of our old tour bus was just about to fall off. So there we were in an old greasy bus barn garage somewhere in Texas, and I get the news, you've got a number one record. And I looked up and I said, wow, ain't life glamorous? But, well, you just keep going.
And you did, and you're doing it. And Reba McEntire, a lot of exciting things happening, headlining Madison Square Garden, the Hollywood Bowl. This is really big stuff. I'm very excited for you. I look forward to talking to you when the book comes out. and hearing more about your adventures.
Oh, thank you, Joan, so much. Thanks for having me on your program.
I love talking to you. Reba McEntire, let's wait because we're all going to get tickets because it's going to be a terrific event in our own backyard. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing, Reba. I'm Joan Hamburg, and much more ahead on WABC.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.